Hello. Okay, I know I didn't announce the stream, so I know.
Hi there.
Oh, hi, we're live, Margot.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's all right. I thought you guys were all. And this was I didn't give a lot of notice, but they say it's going to be televised, but it's going to be again on a delayed stream. So I'm just going to pull up. I did watch some interviews today. I think they were on CBS where they went to Brian's Pullman apartment and spoke to one guy that spoke under he was anonymous with a hoodie, and he said that Brian really, he's trying to remember anything about him that stood out. Really, nothing stood out at all. And the only thing he said that he talked about that he just said, like, did you hear about those Idaho murders? You know, I hear they don't have a lead, or they don't have a suspect. And then there was another guy they spoke to who was also getting his PhD there in another subject, but he said that he told him about Dahmer, the Netflix series, and that talked a little bit about serial killers. I mean, nothing that made him a suspect in either of their eyes. So that was, nothing really, but let's see now. I'm going to go and see what's going on because they're not allowed. I don't even think they're allowed to live stream. So we'll look at some stuff while we're waiting. Everybody, a lot of people are talking about what we've been talking about for a few days now, that there's mistakes in the probable cause affidavit, and that Johnson, where they say it's Idaho, it's actually Washington. And they're going over those hours where we don't know where he is after he gets out of that, is it Albertsons? Is that what it was? Was it Albertsons? I believe it was Albertsons. And we don't know where he is. It's 1:04, he gets out of there. Next thing is 5:36 to 8:30. His phone is off, but they don't let us know what he's doing between 1:04 and 8:30. So he's got, quite a big chunk of time that we don't know what's going on there. But let me see. Let me go to Ryan Hinton here. So he's going to be, okay, so the hearing is about to start. Oh, let me see. Hold on a minute. Why is, Brian has something wrong here. He's saying 8 a.m. local time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. That's incorrect. It should be 10 p.m., 10 a.m. Eastern time. Yeah, cuckoo clock does it. So he's got a mistake there. Let's see. It's just a status hearing. I hear that he's not expected to enter a plea today, so we'll see what happens with that. And I'm trying to think here. Let's just see. Yeah, see, somebody told him 2 hours exactly. Okay, so preliminary hearing Thursday, January 12th, 8 a.m. before the magistrate judge. At the status hearing, the defense will choose whether he wants the preliminary hearing or waive it. If he wants the preliminary hearing, if he doesn't, waive his right to a speedy trial. So he gets this speedy trial. He's going to waive his right to that, because if he doesn't, it means that it must occur before January 19th. Unless extraordinary circumstances exist, the prosecution puts on a mini trial. That's exactly what's going on in the Maya Miliete case. But you see how long that normally takes, and that's for them to build a case, go through the discovery and all of that. So what happens is they normally waive the preliminary hearing. And then there's either probable cause hearing, and so that's the defendant is held for trial, or if there wasn't enough, anything to hold them on, they're released and the charges may be amended. After that, the case is reassigned to a judge, and then you have a felony arraignment. So that's what we're looking at in a timeline here. So we see the guy in Florida took that, advantage of that speedy trial, thinking that it was a tactic that could help people the prosecution to not have everything aligned and catch him kind of off guard. But that didn't work out so well, because that guy was found guilty of murdering his girlfriend. So that was really the only case a recent case I've ever seen where they go to that speedy trial. So we'll see what happens here. I think it's just going to follow suit. Now let's see here. Trying to see if we... What is the other news? Let's see. Again, they can be in the courtroom. They will not allow, they're going to have cameras so you can see it afterwards. They will not have any live streaming, and I believe they're not even allowed to tweet, as most are. They can't even tweet on Twitter Live. But we'll go over some other stuff. Yesterday, if you didn't hear it, Bryan Kohberger did speak with Jason LeBar, who is not affected by the gag order, and he said that's the public defender in Pennsylvania. He does not believe that Bryan Kohberger can get a fair trial in Moscow. And he said that the statement that was in that statement that was released on his behalf by this public defender, the one that said that he was eager to be exonerated, he said that Kohberger came up with that all on his own. And he thought that the probable cause affidavit had strong circumstantial evidence, but that the case had some holes. Another thing I was watching today was that that knife sheath, puts him at the scene, but doesn't necessarily put him at the scene at the time of the murders. No, not necessarily, and that's what the defense is going to be looking to explain away. So I'm just trying to go through any stuff here. Let me just put something up here, and then I'll go to the chat, take any questions you have, and but there are those two new interviews of the neighbors, and not really saying much. I don't know. What's here? What else here? Okay, we are live. You guys know that, right? I'm waiting to see if we see any we have to wait because they're not allowed. I don't even think they're allowed to live tweet anything from this. So let's see how that goes.
Good morning.
Good morning,
Good
Al.
morning, Al. Morning, girl.
Good morning, Linda.
How's everybody?
Good. We are live, right? Looking at this hearing here, like waiting for the news on this, right? You guys are aware. I just want to make sure you're aware of that because I don't want to...
No?
Okay, good. And thank you for the super chat, Al. And I'm looking
You're
at
welcome.
let's see. Hi, Gianna Marie. Hi, Fazia. Hi, Janae. Did you guys see those new interviews with the neighbors? Hi, Teresa.
No.
Jeannie's talking about life. Debbie T. Julie
How are
W.
you?
Yeah, I mean, they're not much about anything. Hi, Glenn. Do you think he left all those breadcrumbs? I'm beginning to wonder too, Glenn Jamin. I was wondering since the start, because it seems like on one hand, he's the stupidest guy, right? Or is he playing us? Is he playing this game? And hi, Cat's got your tongue. Whatever, right? Is he playing this game? I don't know. Kind of seems like maybe he thinks he's smarter than everyone. He's going to play this game where he pretends to do some really stupid things and then shows us how he gets out of it. But I don't know. I'm there with you, Glenn. Sometimes I think that. Sometimes I think no, he couldn't think that. But yeah, he seems pretty smug and pretty confident that he's going to exonerate himself, right? Perhaps his goal is to have evidence, be on the edge of reasonable doubt, and get away with it. Exactly, Glenn. I know. I'm thinking of that myself. So let's see. And hi, 80s girl. So these interviews, the guy was in a hoodie, and they went to the Pullman apartments. And it's 2 a.m. there. Wow. Thanks for coming in, Cats. So they went to the apartments, and the one guy says, he's racking his brain trying to remember anything that would make Bryan stand out, and he really can't. I mean, and nothing that would make him suspicious of him in this homicide. And he said that he did mention, like, hey, did you hear about those murders on the Idaho campus? But nothing that made it seem that, nothing out of the ordinary than anybody else would say, right? And then he said that I heard they don't have a suspect, or they don't have any leads, something to that effect. I'm paraphrasing. And then I think it was to the other neighbor that did appear on camera, with his face, said that he was also pursuing his PhD, and he spoke to Bryan, and Bryan said, I'm pursuing my PhD in criminology, and I want to work with law enforcement. And he talked about his knowledge of law enforcement, and I believe it's that one that he said that he was watching that Dahmer Netflix documentary series too, and that was about it for that new news. Let me see if there's any Twitter updates. Okay, so let me refresh this. We'll see if he's there. But this is not expected to be long. He's not expected to enter a plea. So we'll see. He'll probably just waive the right to the preliminary hearing like that. And let's see. Can have anything. Okay. All right, let me go back to Bryan and see what he's doing. But if you have any questions, put them in there. We can try, if you want to find out if something is real or not. There's so much misinformation out there. They did debunk, which we've said all along, that horrible audio that was put out there, which if the families heard it, tormented just people that heard it. It was horrible. Okay, so let's see. The other news yesterday is allegedly by a source, again, close to law enforcement, or that was involved in the extradition, that he was consoling himself on the way back, saying, like, at one point he was saying, I'm fine, this is okay. Let's see. News Nation. But this morning he's going to appear in court. Okay, so let's see. We can... So attorneys at the Thursday hearing scheduled for, they have this wrong, it's 10 a.m. Eastern Time, are likely to discuss the decision, oh my God, I can't speak today, the decision to have a preliminary hearing, which is when a judge decides if there's enough evidence to move to trial. A defendant has the right to waive that preliminary hearing. The judge in this case has issued a gag order which prevents those involved from speaking publicly. Though the courtroom is still open to the public, it's going to be on a delay. So the tweets, even the tweeting and the camera footage is going to come later. The other attorney in Pennsylvania was not bound by the gag order. That's why he could say what he said. And today also the hearing for Mile Mielete to decide if there's enough evidence to move forward in that case is going to continue. Plus you have that antifreeze trial going on from that 1998 case where the defendant there was convicted, but then it was appealed because some evidence that was admitted that his wife left, his wife who he is it, allegedly killed, wrote a letter and some voicemails that were admitted that they don't think should be admitted, so that's why they're retrying it, and that is going on today as well. But let me go and see if anything is going on yet. More of that insider with the extradition said that Bryan seemed really nervous. He was narrating the whole process to himself, again saying, it's fine, it's okay, I'm okay. And like he was reassuring himself that this whole thing wasn't awful. Let's see if Bryan has any more on this yet. Okay, we've got Bryan in there. Video recording is allowed in the courtroom, but they are not allowed to live stream it, so the recordings, again, are going to be right after this, which is not expected to be long. It's mainly focused on scheduling. And I still don't see any live tweets that have come out yet, and I keep refreshing this, so I'll come back to chat and see if you guys are saying anything. Let's see. Debbie D. Snowing. Yes, it snowed here too. But it's not, the kids still had school, and it's just really foggy. I'm looking out and see if it's doing anything, just enough to make it yucky where I won't go up and down the driveway in this crowd. But Jimmy will go out with the truck and say, let's see, somebody will see the hearing later. Yeah, it's not going to be that much later, Jeannie. It's just they don't allow them to have a live feed in the court. Hi, Angel Eyes. But we can check on other things and see and go over some stuff while we're waiting. You know what, Flo? That's a mistake. They said 11 a.m. on News Nation, but that's not correct. There's only 2 hours time difference. So I think that they're incorrect. Bryan Enton was incorrect when they posted that time. If it's 8 a.m. in Idaho, it's 10 a.m. on the East Coast. So, and it is 10:16. So it might, if they got started on time, it might even be close to over. Hi, Jen Grill. So let's see what else while we're waiting. Let me just refresh and see if Bryan Enton has anything yet. Nothing yet. Go see some of the things. Let's see. I'll read you some of the comments in here. Someone said, not much has been said of his movements immediately after the murders. It seems odd that he waited weeks to detail his car. Yeah, it does, right? Surely he was not that confident he would get away with this horrendous action. I would like to know why he waited to clean up. What else? And someone said, this case is not going to go to trial until 2024, maybe even 2025. First step, I think, is the case set to be moved to a different jurisdiction to ensure a fair trial.
Yeah, that could happen. Yeah. I think it's around 7 there. 7:17. Seattle, right?
No, not Seattle. They're in Idaho.
Oh.
Let's see.
So it'd be 7:30 there?
No, it's 8:17 there.
Hmm.
Hey, Brian, can you answer me? How are they going to find jurors for this case? This is probably the most popular case in the making of present time. Almost impossible. It does that no one has heard. It's not that no one has heard of this case. They know that. It's just, but they probably will have to move it to a different jurisdiction. Let's see if anybody else is saying anything. Let's see. All right, nothing more there. Let's go. Let's see if he has anything yet. I can't imagine it lasting more than 30 minutes, but we'll see. Let's try a different. But so far, Brian Enton does not have any other updates yet, so that means he's not out of the courtroom yet. Just is here. Let's see. Okay. Essentially, this hearing is to determine schedules of the future court proceedings. He has not yet entered a plea to the charges, and that's not expected in this hearing. Could happen, but it's not expected. Defendants first go through a preliminary hearing to determine if there's enough probable cause to go to trial. Preliminary hearing itself has not been scheduled, and many defendants waive that hearing, stipulating the state has enough evidence at least to proceed to trial. After the hearing is either held or waived, then the court moves to an arraignment where a person enters a plea. Court documents in the case reveal police linked Kohberger to the crime through DNA from that knife sheath, right? From the snap that was found at the scene of the crime there. Oh, I know what he said to the in that other interview. Now I remember it. He said they don't have a suspect, or they don't have any leads. I heard it was a crime of passion. That's what this neighbor said that they interviewed. He said that I heard it was a crime of passion. Let's see. Cameras will be allowed in court on Thursday, but they aren't allowed to stream any video live. And he could face the death penalty in Idaho, but prosecutors have not yet said if they will seek that. And I have a court file here, so we've got his court file. Let's see what we have. On 110, there was a request for discovery. So this was just something, one of the public filings that was filed on the 10th, State of Idaho versus Bryan Kohberger. To the prosecuting attorney comes now Bryan Kohberger by and through their attorney of record, Ann Taylor, public defender, and pursuant to Rule 16 of the Idaho Rules of Criminal Procedure, the Idaho Rules of Evidence. Okay, all that gobbledygook right there. Statement of the defendant to permit the defendant to inspect and copy or photograph any relevant written or recorded statements made by the defendant or copies thereof within the possession, custody, or control of the state, the existence of which is known or is available to the prosecuting attorney by the exercise of due diligence, and also the substance of any relevant oral statements made by the defendant, whether before or after arrest, to a peace officer, prosecuting attorney, or his agent, and the recorded testimony of the defendant before a grand jury which relates to the offense charged. So they want any of the discovery on that. Statements of co-defendant, any written or recorded statements by a co-defendant, and the substance of any relevant oral statements made by a co-defendant, whether before or after arrest. defendant's prior record, a copy of the defendant's prior record, if any, as is then or may become available to a prosecuting attorney, documents and tangible objects to permit the defendant to inspect and copy all books, papers, documents, photographs, tangible objects, and copies and portions thereof which are possession or control of the prosecuting attorney and which are material to the preparation of the defense. So they want everything, the notes, and any materials that they have at all, they want it all, which is normal, are intended for use by the prosecutor as evidence or obtained from or belonging to the defendant. Reports or examinations of tests, so any tests that he had, permit the defendant to inspect and copy any results or reports of physical or mental examinations and or scientific tests or experiments made in connection with the particular case that are in the possession, custody, or control of the prosecuting attorney. Okay, so this is statements made by the prosecution witnesses or prospective witnesses made to the prosecuting attorney or their agents or to any official involved in the investigative case. So if they have any of those recorded interviews where they interviewed them, they have to turn that all over to the defense. Expert witnesses provide a written summary or report of any testimony that the state intends to introduce pursuant to Rule 702, 703, or 705 of the Idaho Rules of Evidence at trial or hearing. The summary provided must describe the witness's opinions, the facts and data for those opinions, and the witness's qualifications. So if they bring in a DNA expert or any of their expert witnesses there, they've got to release all that. Police reports, of course, provide the defendant all reports, all memoranda, and all rough notes. So even the little notes, anything they write, that's all had to be preserved and now handed over. Digital media recordings, audio and video files released to the defendant. Any digital media that may or may not contain protected information. The prosecuting attorney must state whether the disclosure contains protected information. And unredacted digital media, release unredacted digital media. That means all those police cam footage from the crime scene walkthroughs, everything. Redacted digital media. Search warrants, provide all documentation in support of any search warrant. In connection with the case, applications for the search warrants, whether granted or denied, all affidavits, declarations, and material. Exculpatory evidence, okay, and provide all defendant all documents pertaining to existence and substance of any payments, promises, preferential treatment, okay, identification. So this is standard, but that was filed on the 10th to make sure they get everything that the prosecuting attorney has, so they know what they're dealing with that. And that is the latest filing with the court on his case there. They have the affidavit, probable cause order, the arrest warrant, the criminal complaint, the invocation of rights, order appointing the public defender. They have limited notice of appearance, motion to preserve the crime scene, which we've gone over, stipulation for non-dissemination order, and notice of the hearing, order change time of preliminary hearing, and request for discovery. And that's, let me see, what is this one? That's where we are right now. There's the case summary. So that's just everything that's been going. This case summary is just, I'll pull this over so you see this. His charges: burglary, murder one, murder one, murder one, murder one. So he's got 4 counts of murder one. The warrant return served, outstanding arrest warrant, pending judge's signatures, and then it just goes through all of these that have been filed up until the request for discovery. And now the status conference hearing, 8 a.m. And that's where we are right now and what we're waiting for.
Someone in the chat was saying that there's 2 different time zones in Idaho.
Uh-huh.
And that Moscow is on Pacific Standard. Moscow, sorry. That it's only...
Yep, but it says, really, so they are on Pacific? That's weird.
Moscow is Pacific, but some other parts of it are mountain.
That's very strange.
So
Okay.
it's saying that it's only like 7.
So it's 7:27. So it's a half an hour.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
All right.
anything he said will be used against him. And remember, he took a 5-hour flight from PA to Washington State. Who
Right.
knows what he said on that airplane
Mm-hmm.
to the marshals, and that can be used against him too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see what they have
There's
to.
probably pages of him speaking. Because, like you said, he thought he was smarter than everybody else. So he would try to maybe explain himself.
I'm gonna see if I can pull up those interviews. We can look at some other stuff on it of the neighbors in the time we're waiting for this. Okay. Brian, is he getting rid of me? So what is this one? So let's see. Let me see if this is the new neighbor. This might be the transcript of what I've watched. Let me see. Okay, yeah, I think this is. Let's look at this now. A neighbor, Bryan Kohberger's in Pullman, Washington, said the suspect in the murder case spoke to him about the murders days after they occurred. The neighbor asked not to be identified, and I quote, he said, he brought it up in conversation. He asked if I had heard about the murders, which I did, and then he said, yeah, seems like they have no leads. Seems like it was a crime of passion. At the time of our conversation, it was only a few days after it happened, so there wasn't much details out, he said. The search warrant for Kohberger's apartment in Pullman has been temporarily sealed by an Idaho judge. The judge said the details could prematurely end the investigation and create a threat to public safety. But remember that one that was filed, that was December 29th, and the official filing is the 30th, and that was the day he was arrested.
Yeah.
Kohberger is charged with 4 counts, again, like we said, first-degree murder and the 1 burglary. And there was another neighbor. Let me see if he put him in here, but he didn't put that other neighbor in there. But that was the first one. The other neighbor said that he had told him that he was just about his PhD program, that he was interested in working with police, and he always has been. And something about him watching the Dahmer Netflix thing was about that. So let's see. Here's another note. I'm trying to look for anything new here. Let me see. Alright, details. A police source told People magazine, which is like turning into another Daily Mail, only identified as a police source, that Kohberger had small talk with police officers when he was being transported from Pennsylvania out to Idaho. The clock's like cuckoo. Okay. Kohberger allegedly expressed sadness about the fate of the victims, but he didn't further elaborate, and the police source added that Kohberger was nervous throughout the trip, or seemed that, I guess. At one point, he was reassuring himself and narrating the process, saying, I'm okay, this is okay. Meanwhile, a former classmate of Kohberger's in graduate school noticed that the suspect was completely silent when their class discussed the murders. Ben Roberts, a criminal justice graduate student at WSU, said Kohberger was always active in criminology classes and seemed outgoing. But let's see what else we have. A college student, Lucy Saff, said now she is always carrying a heavy flashlight that could double as a baton. Okay, let me see. Heather Staff, Lucy's mother, said she's worried about sending her daughter back to campus months after the murders happened. The incident has also pushed some students to take self-defense classes and change their habits, such as walking with friends at night and always locking the door, which is just good sense anyway. Let's see. Okay. Federal investigators, so let's see what's going on here. This is at the at Kohberger's first Idaho court appearance last week. Charges were read to him for the murders of each student. The judge said each victim was stabbed and murdered with premeditation, with malice and forethought. Families were overcome with emotion as their children's names were read. That's what we have up until now. And he seemed... We'll see what he's like in court today. That was him last week in court. And his strange behavior in Pennsylvania was that extreme detailing, cleaning of his car, not missing a spot according to investigators, and then wearing the latex or the nitrile gloves outside and throwing away trash into a neighbor's trash bins, which they collected and sent to the state lab in Idaho, where they matched DNA to that knife sheath. And it was his father's DNA that they used and matched it so that he was the biological father of the DNA that was on the knife sheath. Now,
And he's trying to tell himself everything's all right.
yeah, they're saying, well, the biggest piece that, the defense attorneys, it doesn't mean the knife sheath is bad, they said, but it doesn't 100% mean that he was there that night exactly. Or there's that doubt that they'll create that someone framed him, someone stole the sheath, just so many things, or that he left it there at another time. Why would a vegan person carry a leather sheath? A lot of different things like that. So, and then someone even said, I saw that he may be setting everybody up, and a knife that was used wasn't really the knife that belonged in that sheath. That's been thrown out there as well, but no, but that's just something they've thrown out. He looks like Lurch from Adam's Family. Hi, Judy, how are you? He may have been quiet to avoid repeating any comments or questions he made online. Exactly, Glenn Jenman. If anybody wants to call in, just let me know. So it's looking high net that I guess they 728 Oliver said Seattle, Boise 826. But is that true that they, let me see, Moscow is on Pacific time? Moscow,
Yes.
Pacific time. So let's see. What time in Moscow? Moscow.
It's still a half hour. We're bringing him in, he said 8.
So it's, but how come that didn't happen to us last time? That is so weird.
Oh. You knew.
Moscow Standard Time. Oh, Moscow, Idaho. No wonder here. Thinking like what? Okay, yeah, it's 7:36. That's so weird. I don't know how we got it right the last time. That we.
It was a little later in the morning, too, for us.
Yeah, that is
It's like
odd.
9:30 when we first watched that hearing.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so let me go and see if Twitter, if they have anything about him arriving, or because I haven't even seen that. Usually the reporters have been there for like 4 hours, but I don't see
He's
any.
in the courthouse. He's in the basement in their jail, in the basement.
Oh, right. He just has to go upstairs.
Mhm.
So they don't get to. Normally they love showing all that. Okay. So
County, the county jail is in the court.
in the basement, yeah.
Mhm.
That's convenient. Lato County Courthouse. Let's take a look at the courthouse. So this is the open. Here's the court. Oh, it's such a small picture. Why is that so tiny? To make that larger. Here he is in duty. Here's a better one. That's tiny too. Tiny. Courthouse. Let's check out let's check out the jail and see if he is, because people asked about whether he could get visitation.
It'll be about, they said his hearing will start at 8 a.m. in Moscow.
Right. It should be 11. So let's see.
You're saying that it's Moscow time and he's at around 7:30 right now.
Right. So we got another half an hour. So let's take a look at.
I just think he did talk a little bit on the plane and maybe a little bit in PA, even if he did not fight.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so here's a little look inside. This is an article for the Ladder County Jail passes inspection. And this was, let's see what they said about the jail back in. This is 20. There were only 33 inmates in Ladder County on Wednesday morning, but that number is expected to rise, particularly with several inmates arriving Friday. This, again, is an old article, but I'm just trying to see about the jail. And everything in the facility will be in good shape. There are 42 beds, and it's a 40-year-old facility, and this was 2014, so we're almost 10 years ago. Population increase, let's see. They have a small holding cell, contains 10 to 12 on rare occasion. More lighting was added, the video control room. So they made updates back in 2014. Let's see what it's like. What is that? Jail now. And what about his visitation? Because on phone calls and stuff. Let's see what he gets.
They probably want to get him to be one of the first one in there so they can, get the media around and all that.
All right. So they say that, let's see. The easiest way to inquire about an inmate is to have their full name. Let's put his name. Let me see. No, that's not the one for them. Okay, to send mail to an inmate, address it to inmate name, inmate number, 522 South Adams, Moscow, Idaho. You know how many people are already writing him? How many women? You wouldn't believe. Oh, yeah, and men, exactly. Sending money. You can deposit money to an inmate's commissary account, which is not the same as the money they would use to make a phone call, and money cannot be transferred between the accounts. So they give information on that. Phone calls. Inmates cannot receive calls, but they can call you. You will need to accept the charges, take responsibility for payment. It should be free for less than a minute. When the inmate tells you he's calling, then you will need to add funds to his account. You can add funds while on the phone by paying with a credit card. Visitation. You need to schedule a visit at least 1 day in advance of the visit so they can approve you. You can schedule your visit in a kiosk in the lobby of the jail, and you can do this 24 hours a day. You can also schedule a visit on the website of the Ladder County Jail. To sign in for a visit, you need a valid government picture identification. Make sure when you visit you plan to dress conservatively and do not bring in any contraband material to the jail. Visiting hours are Monday, 7:30 to 9 p.m., Tuesday, 7:30 to 9 p.m., Wednesday, same 7:30 to 9 p.m. So every day is Monday through Friday at 7:30 to 9 p.m., Saturday, 7:30 to 2:30 p.m., and Sunday, 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Let's see what else they have.
They don't have to let you see him. If he's not behaving well or something, they
Right.
won't have visitors.
Right, yeah, and sometimes they make them wait a number like I know Jody Arias had a wait or something, I think, so did, let's see. If
Yeah.
there's, and that, see if we have anything else. Sheriffs frequently ask questions, visiting. Okay, here, this is. Oh. Now, see over here, when it says what are the visiting hours for the Lauder County Jail, it says visiting is by appointment only. Visiting hours are Saturday and Sunday 1 to 4. So I don't know what the other, if this is, which one is correct? Let's see. Tension. Let's see. Yeah, this, okay, this is more of their, so let's see, the Lauder County Jail is an adult male and female holding facility that was built in 1972. The jail is designed to hold adults being charged with a crime while awaiting trial and those adults sentenced to local jail time or awaiting transport to the Idaho Department of Corrections. They also hold for other forms of due process. We house adult prisoners for the Idaho State Police, the Moscow Police Department, United States Marshal Service, Bureau of Prisons, Idaho Department of Corrections, and other various counties, and our own agency. The jail has a maximum holding capacity of 42 individuals. It is staffed by 1 lieutenant, 1 sergeant, 2 corporals, 8 deputies, working 2 different shifts. The jail admits new bookings and releases inmates 24 hours a day. The jail staff dispenses medication, feeds inmates, delivers and receives individuals from court, and transports inmates to different agencies. They also provide housed inmates access to the library, recreation yard, attorneys, clergy, and special programs, security checks, as well as inmates needing work, school, treatment release is also done throughout the entire day. The jail library consists of reading books, a pull-up bar, a dip bar. They also have an outside recreation yard, and both the library and recreation yard are constantly monitored. Inmates are allowed 1 hour per day in either location or a combination of both. The library contains a complete set of Idaho code books and federal code books for legal research. The jail offers special programs to inmates to include Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, church services, and a GED program. Visiting is by appointment only. Okay, so that was incorrect what they had on that other site. Visiting hours are Saturday and Sunday, 1 to 4. So there's no Monday through Friday, as it said there. Adults must bring picture ID to visit an inmate. Juveniles must be accompanied by their parent or legal guardian. All visits are in a special visiting room and are non-contact. Visitors must be 18 years of age or accompanied by their parent or legal guardian and must not have been incarcerated within the last 30 days. If you are on probation, you must have prior approval through your probation officer. Everyone visiting must have a valid picture ID. Medical staff come into the jail twice a week for inmate sick calls, and they handle the majority of the cases. Those cases that require a specialist, such as dental, eye exams, lab work, x-rays, or any other procedure that cannot be done in the facility, are brought to a local provider in the area. Now let's see, contacting inmates. Inmates have access to telephones to make outgoing, collect calls only. You may set up an account by contacting Telmate, and they give the phone number, or the website www.gettingout.com. If you call the jail, you will not be able to reach an inmate. To put money on an inmate's account, you must come into the sheriff's office and use the kiosk in the lobby. The phone number and website listed above, or mail in a money order made out to the inmate. Personal checks are not allowed. The sheriff's office will not accept property, mail, or medications brought in without proper authorization by the jail commander. Then it says inmate telephone services. That's going to be, let's see, collect calls, destination number, inmate prepaid account, inmate voicemail. Friends and family can now leave inmates a voicemail message up to 3 minutes for only $1.25. Oh, let's see. So that's something, collect calls. And I think they have a, do they have a time limit there? Usually it's 15
I'm
minutes.
not
And
even
then,
sure if you visit him if you're a felon. That would have to get special permission too.
yeah. Okay.
So any cleanup that wants to go see him, that's not gonna be allowed. His family, his lawyers,
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think media can get to him right now.
Okay, let me see, visiting information, we just went through that, yes, and elimination, okay, so that's,
His parents wanted to give him money and they weren't there, they would have to give it to the lawyer, and the lawyer would have to go in and use the kiosk in the lobby.
oh yeah, or they said they can do it through the website, there is a website they can do it, so let's see.
Okay, so maybe you use this Bob Barker thing or something.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see what their food is like here. Okay, let me check back on with Brian. I didn't see if he has any other updates here. Okay, so he says now he's about, this 17 seconds ago, he's about to go through security and into the Kohberger hearing. Live tweeting not allowed, but I will update when it's over. So, okay, we're getting closer. You're going through security and going to the hearing. If you're just joining us, the hearing starts in about about 11 minutes. They cannot, the cameras are inside, but reporters cannot live tweet. They're not even allowed to live tweet. So we have to wait until it's over to get any updates, which is what we're waiting here for. And in the meantime, we've gone through some interviews, gone through some information about the jail where he's being held and what's expected today. He's not expected to enter a plea today. And it's a status hearing just to get the timeline straight and about the preliminary hearing, about waiving that. So we'll see what that brings. Let me see if there's any other tidbits we can entertain ourselves with. Let me check on again, there's the trial, the antifreeze trial is going on today, as well as the preliminary hearing for Larry Migliette, who's charged with murdering his wife, Mayo Migliette, in their Chula Vista home. So let me see. Hold on, let me see what we can do. And I want to see that little girl that's missing. I wonder if there's any news on that, because that's where there's hardly any news on that. And so we do have some Murdaugh news. We'll go over some headlines while we're waiting. So we have, that's the family of the 19-year-old woman who was killed in the crash of the boat driven by the intoxicated Paul Murdaugh has settled its wrongful death lawsuit with the Murdaugh's surviving brother and the estate of his mother. The news comes less than 2 weeks before the disgraced South Carolina legal scion Alex Murdaugh goes on trial for the murders of his son and wife Maggie in June of 2021. Paul was awaiting trial for boating under the influence. Paul is the son in the 2019 crash that killed Mallory Beach. At the time of the murders, Beach was tossed out of the boat and her body was found a week later. Her family and 3 other passengers in the boat that night agreed to an undisclosed amount in the settlement, leaving only Alex Murdaugh himself and Parker's Kitchen, the convenience store that allegedly sold Paul Murdaugh the alcohol before the crash, as defendants in the lawsuit. And let's see, joint motion for court consideration and
When did
approval.
that boat crash happen?
2019. So
Where? Was it in a lake, an ocean?
no, it was in let's see here. Hold on. Let's see, there's one. They hit a pilling. Let me see here. Wasn't in the it was not in the ocean. It was boat crash litigation. Let me see, hold on. Settlement agreement. I'm looking at the settlement agreement. Usually they the summary. Moselle. The settlement and authorize such agreements. So that's the wrongful death. And let me see, the Beach family. Buster Murdaugh is Paul's older brother, and he was accused of lending his identification for Paul to buy the alcohol. The mother, Maggie, was named in the suit as turning a blind eye to her son's underage drinking. Let's see. The Beach family feels very strongly that whatever their faults were, Paul and Maggie didn't deserve what happened to them. The Beach family attorney, Mark Brandon Tinsley, said they also feel Buster has suffered enough, so it was important to them to try and get him out of the case. According to this settlement, Renee Beach, as representative of her daughter's estate, will receive $275,000 from the sale of the Murdaugh estate Moselle, where Paul and Maggie Murdaugh were killed. That's that big hunting compound. And Buster Murdaugh will receive $530,000. Attorney's fees are included in the settlement, and all other contingencies related to the sale of the estate, which was valued at $4 million. Alex Murdaugh's world began crumbling the day he reported the murders of his wife and son as investigators uncovered millions of dollars in fraud the attorney allegedly perpetuated against clients and his own law firm, which was founded by his great-grandfather. The law firm booted him out, and the South Carolina Supreme Court suspended his law license as he was charged with dozens of counts of financial fraud, and he faced multiple lawsuits. He has also been charged with hiring a former client to kill him in an attempt to win a $10 million insurance payout for his son, Buster.
I remember a case with Marlon Brando's son, if I'm not mistaken. Some here where in Maryland, Marlon Brando's son killed somebody in a boat. I think
Yeah, I
he had
heard
a
that.
boat.
Yeah, I think so, right? Let me see.
Yeah,
Mallory Beach.
this can happen.
Let's see.
Things.
So let's see what happened in Mallory Beach. In February of 2019, a fatal boat crash took the life of Mallory Beach when her friend Paul Murdaugh allegedly drunkenly crashed his family's boat. At the time of her death in the fatal boating accident, Mallory Beach was just 19 years old. She had graduated from Wade Hampton High School and was working at a clothing boutique in Beaufort, South Carolina. Her family said she had dreams of becoming an interior designer. Mallory Beach was popular and everybody loved her, said Mallory's aunt. Let me see, the fatal night. So let's see, they have, is this the...
So they were on his boat. Okay.
Yeah, they were on his boat. Let's see. On February 23rd, 2019, Mallory and Anthony planned to spend the night at a house party and oyster roast on Pawkey Island with their friends. Anthony's cousin, Connor Cook, and Connor's girlfriend, Miley Altman. They decided to meet first at Murdaugh Island, a river property owned by the family of their friend Paul Murdaugh. So Murdaugh Island. So they actually, we went by their house in South Carolina, so I'm wondering if it's where it is, not the one on Edisto. Since Paul and his then girlfriend Morgan Dougherty were also going to the party, the friends said they would take Paul's family boat there. Investigators say that Paul, Connor, Anthony, Mallory, Morgan, and Miley were all underage and drinking alcohol. And here they have an image of Paul buying alcohol there. Earlier that day, surveillance cameras captured Paul Murdaugh purchasing alcohol at a local convenience store. He used the ID of his older brother, Buster. And then they have him there with the boat. Guess at the store. And he was going out with the alcohol there. In the still image taken from the security camera video, Paul appears to be celebrating that he was able to successfully purchase that alcohol. Okay, and then, let's see. Investigators believe that around 6:30 p.m., Anthony, Mallory, Paul, and his girlfriend Morgan and another couple, Connor and Miley, had assembled at the Murdaugh family river house. They say the group left by boat at about 7 p.m. In her interview with investigators, Miley said they arrived at the house party where they spent several hours. At around midnight, she says, she left the party with Paul, Morgan, Anthony, Mallory, and Connor. And when they got back on the boat, Miley says, Paul insisted on driving to a bar in downtown Beaufort. Let's see. Then they have pictures of them taking shots over here at this bar, whichever this one is. It says GPS pulled records from the boat's device to show the group tied the boat up at a dock at around 12:45 a.m. Investigators say Paul and Connor went to a waterfront bar. They ordered 2 rounds of shots. Connor later testified he used a fake ID to get in and said Paul used his brother's Buster's ID. Surveillance video captured the two seated at the bar while the rest of the group remained outside waiting for them to return. Investigators say that just after 1 a.m., Paul and Connor rejoined their friends and headed back to where the boat was docked. By this point, Paul was allegedly intoxicated and acting rash, according to law enforcement and some of the other passengers. Let's see. Okay, and then this is them going to board the boat for the last ride for some of them there. And this is the pilling, I believe, where the crash occurred there. According to Miley, some of the groups started arguing with Paul after, she says, he started driving in circles and acting drunk. Miley told investigators Anthony asked Paul to let him out at a nearby dock, but Paul refused. Morgan would later testify that Paul kept leaving the wheel to fight with her, and she said Mallory was scared. Investigators would later note the onboard Garmin GPS showed the speed of the boat increased. At about 2:20 a.m., the boat crashed into the Archers Creek Bridge. Mallory was ejected from the boat into the dark water. Connor called 911 and begged for help. First responders immediately began to search for Mallory. Let's see. Then Beaufort County Deputy Sheriff Stephen Domino was one of the first responders. He said that when he arrived, he found Anthony pictured distressed and pacing. That's Anthony right there. He managed to calm Anthony down and asked him to sit in his patrol car. When Paul walked up from the boat, Stephen Domino, Deputy Sheriff, said that Anthony grew agitated. He actually tried to rush through me to get to Paul because I guess he saw him smiling and it just set him off again. So Paul was smiling. Anthony told Domino he saw Paul driving the boat right before the crash. The boat was destroyed. Investigators photographed the damage to the boat, and then the passengers were transported to the hospital, except for Mallory's boyfriend, Anthony, who wanted to stay behind. Connor was treated for a broken jaw. Morgan's hand was badly injured. Paul was uncooperative. Medical staff drew Paul's blood several hours after the crash, and his blood alcohol content was 0.24, which is 3 times over the legal limit. Hospital staff said that they observed Paul's father, Alex Murdaugh, going from room to room, attempting to speak with the other survivors. A security guard also reported that he overheard him on the phone saying, "She's gone, don't worry." Let's see. Investigators and volunteers using rescue boats spent 8 days searching for Mallory Beach, and on March 3rd, 2019, 2 volunteers found Mallory Beach about 5 miles down the river from the crash scene. So this is 4 years ago, right? Yep, 4 years ago. Let's see. On April 18th of 2019, on what would have been Mallory's 20th birthday, Paul Murdaugh was indicted and charged with 3 felony counts of boating under the influence, including causing the death of Mallory Beach and seriously injuring 2 other passengers. He pled not guilty to all the charges, and he was out on bond awaiting trial. We know how that worked out. Here's a picture of the family now. We know that there's only 2 left. Paul, pictured with his family, would never have his day in court because on June 7, 2021, Paul was murdered along with his mother Maggie at that hunting property to which Alex, their father, now stands accused of their deaths. And let's see what we have. So, Mallory Beach's aunt. Here's Mallory Beach. Said her niece loved animals, especially dogs, so a nonprofit charity was created to honor her memory called Mal's Pals. It's raising money to build a brand new animal shelter in Hampton County, South Carolina. So they've settled. So let's see if there's any other. Brian Enton has tweeted anything yet? No, let's see. So at this point, it's about 3 minutes into the hearing, so there is no other news other than this status hearing is expected to be short, and Brian Enton has gone through security and into the hearing. Cameras are allowed, but they're not allowed to live stream, so we'll continue going. Let's see what else we have in the headlines today while we wait. Investigators search for clues to Madalena Kocikare's disappearance in mountain community 150 miles away. The poor little girl, she hasn't been found yet. Okay. What else do we have here going on? I'm trying to see if there was any news on that little girl. Let's look for that. Athena Brownfield. See if there's anything going on. If that doesn't, there sounds like there's a lot missing from that, and that the timeline is not what it said. And her age went from 3 to 4. So let's see. Oklahoma police are actively looking for missing 4-year-old Athena Brownfield. Put her picture up here. But it's seeming, like I said, that she's missing for longer than they originally stated. And she's still missing after she disappeared earlier this week, and authorities are asking the public to assist. Athena Brownfield has been missing since last Tuesday, and the Oklahoma State Bureau of Investigation has deployed infrared helicopters, boats, 4-wheelers, and personnel on the ground to search the nearby area in an effort to locate her. And Trooper Eric Foster says, we've been in the air in helicopters with infrared on the ground around town. There have been a lot of grid searches on foot and on 4-wheelers, things like that. Our emergency response team, which is specifically trained to go on foot in search of people and things, are out in coordination with civilians who have come and wanted to volunteer their time and effort. We are still actively looking for her using all of our tools. We are finding things that we hope might give us clues as to where she is, but we are still actively looking for her. Authorities also utilized Oklahoma Department of Correction dogs to help search. This is a very active and ongoing investigation, and right now our top priority is locating her and sorting out who's responsible will come next. We need to find this little girl. She's on her own in the elements, so is that endangered? Yeah. But is she the victim of physical harm? That's yet to be determined. The ground search continued all Wednesday, but concluded after volunteers searched the entire town. Let's see. Athena was reported missing around 2 p.m. Tuesday after a postal worker found her 5-year-old sister alone in their residence in Cyril, which is located about 70 miles southwest of Oklahoma City. The oldest girl was described as frightened, but not needing medical care. It was not clear how long she has been missing before her disappearance was reported. We're still working on putting that together. Details regarding the home where the girls were staying was also not immediately clear, and the whereabouts of the girls' parents or guardians at the time of Athena's disappearance is not known. That's part of the ongoing investigation. The 5-year-old has been placed in protective custody. Many details about the 4-year-old, who authorities initially said was 3, but have since corrected, are not known. Subsequently, an Amber Alert has not been issued as her disappearance does not meet the specific guidelines. Okay, the entire law enforcement community assisting with local Locating Athena appreciates local volunteers, restaurant, churches, and all the tips that have been phoned in. Okay, so that's, we don't even know where she is now. Why is she? Let's see. Hiking Queen posts heartbreaking video. What happened there? A California mother of four known as the Dancing Hiking Queen. Shush. The Dancing Hiking Queen posted a heartbreaking video of herself moments before she slid hundreds of feet to her death on an icy slope. Wow. Crystal Paul Gonzalez Landis, 56, was reportedly hiking on the icy Baldy Bowl on Mount Baldy when she slid an estimated 500 to 700 feet on Sunday. That's crazy. Let's see if there's let's see here. This is a picture of her. Wow. I wonder if she had. There we go. San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office received a call about an emergency signal from a GPS device after the incident. The hiker was down on a steep and icy hillside surrounded by numerous helpful hikers assisting in any way they could. The sheriff patrol chopper responded and hoisted the woman, but she succumbed to her injuries before she could be flown to a hospital. Let's see here. The victim was not initially named but later identified by family and friends as Gonzalez Landis, who posted a short Facebook video of herself. "It's go time," she said. "Lots of people out today." And that was in pre-dawn darkness as she wears a headlamp. Many know her as the Dancing Hiking Queen or the Hiker for Life. She's known in the community for her fearless hikes and daily dose of inspiration. Her daughter Jasmine Rosado wrote in a GoFundMe page. More importantly, she was an amazing mother of four, a sister and a friend to everyone she met. She is the personification of strength, love, and beauty. She was a beacon of light to everyone who knew her, and she was always ready to lend a helping hand, said her daughter. 4 days before the accident, Gonzalez Landis posted a chilling video showing the dangerous conditions with cascading snow as she loses her footing. "This stuff is dangerous. Beware, hikers," she captioned the video. According to the San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, Gonzalez Landis is the second person to have died on Mount Baldy. Many fall victims are reported on the same mountain in the winter season. We encourage hikers to please come prepared and hike responsibly, wear appropriate clothing and cold weather conditions, and have the proper snow and ice gear. Okay, let me see if Bryan Enton is updated yet. We're just waiting, doing some headlines while we're waiting for an update. There is not an update yet. The last update, Bryan Enton said 22 minutes ago, was about to go through security and into the Kohberger hearing. Live tweeting not allowed. I will update when it's over. So we're still waiting on that, and we were just going through the headlines, as I said. And let's see. Let me go back to the chat, see what you guys are saying. Hi, Sherry. Hi, Margot. Hi, Tracy Richards. Julie, everybody's hanging in.
Good morning, everyone.
Morning to Brian. In your opinion, Gianna, you say Brian was jealous of these kids and their lifestyle and their looks. Chrissy W. just got on, and the first thing I see is that cute baby. Yeah, I know, Chrissy. It's a sad situation. I'll pray and hope she's okay, but it looks sad. Hi, time for a change. Good to see you. Wonder if we'll see much today. It probably won't be much today. I wouldn't imagine it's going to be much longer before it's over. Hi, Gayla Dennison. How are you? Thanks for coming in. Hi, Sleuthy TV. They won't live stream in the courtroom. No, they won't. They won't even live tweet in the courtroom, which is a pain in the neck, right? Okay, Judy, make your coffee. Let's see. Hi, Liza Ward. You just got a beautiful piece of azurite. That's nice. Hi, Oliver. Hi, Annie B. So now Alex Murdaugh, they just said, when is his trial? Alex Murdaugh trial, let's see. Looks like it's going to January 23rd. The Alex Murdaugh trial is expected to run for multiple weeks and begins with jury selection on the 23rd. We'll definitely cover that. He will not face the death penalty. They seek life without parole. And people were asking about Sarah Boone, the suitcase murderer, about what's going on with her trial. Let's see what that's like. Trial date revealed. That was October. I know there was something about her trying to find a new lawyer. That may delay things. Says January 30th, 2023. Trial reset. Let me see. Who has been reset and will begin. That was that other time. Is it going to be January 30th? Let me see. That's current. Well, that's back in November, but I just heard that she was requesting, and it was set to start on the 30th of January. But I thought I heard that she was requesting a new lawyer. Let me see. I wonder if it'll be good, if it is going off on. It usually happens like that. There's like no trials, it seems, and then they all start to hit. Because if that would be going like simultaneously with Murdaugh, if that's true. Let me see if Brian Enton has tweeted anything. Okay, yes, here we go. We've got something 2 minutes ago. Bryan Kohberger's preliminary hearing has been set for June 26th, so people are going to go nuts until then, at 9 a.m. He was in court in an orange t-shirt and told the court he waived his right to a speedy preliminary hearing. No bail has been set. That's the first tweet coming out. Okay, so June 26th at 9 a.m. In court wearing an orange t-shirt, told the court he waived his right to a speedy preliminary hearing. No bail has been set. And let's see what the comments are here. Defense needs time to go through evidence and prepare for trial. People are saying, do you mean, somebody goes like this, do you mean January 26th? No, honey, they mean June. A lot of these people are following, true crime and the legal system through this for the first time, and they don't understand how long it takes. They're freaking out that it's June. Someone said, that's almost 6 months down the road, crazy. That's so far away. Just dragging it out. I hate how these things take forever. Okay. June 26th, why is the date so far out? That's disappointing. None of this is surprising at all. Not sure why everyone else thinks it is. That's because they don't follow. They thought like he was going to be on trial. They thought last week was the beginning of the trial. It's crazy. They don't know. I don't know. They're just like, this is their first time, and you really realize how many people have no idea of how this operates, these trials. Let's see. Someone said, I thought it was a typo. They are all freaking out in there that it's June. No way, no way. Okay. Let's see. Let's see what else. What the F, June? That's too far out. This clown just needs to go. Get this over with. Yeah, and end him. Yeah, these people have no idea. Let's see if Bryan has said anything else yet. Nothing else yet. Refresh that. Let me see if there's any other reporters that might have. I mean, it's going to be the same thing, but just in case.
And in a way, that isn't a very long time.
No.
And even then, it will start from step one. The state's complaints. And they couldn't even, like you talked about, make it in another county.
Right.
Too close to home where it happens. Get jurors from another county that aren't so up on the news or what have you.
Okay, so it's looking like, June 26th. Preliminary hearing. So the preliminary hearing is like what they are doing with Maya Moliete's husband, which it took a long time to get to his preliminary hearing, where you do hear from witnesses and you hear about evidence and everything they have to see if the case is going to move forward. And that's June 26th, and they do need time to prepare for that and get witnesses and get their strategy and go through all the discovery and interview anyone they need to, and that's what it takes. It doesn't just happen overnight. So, and it might even be delayed from June 26th, depending on what happens between now and then.
Yeah.
There's a lot that can happen between now and then. Look at Lori Vallow, how many times that she had to go have her competency restored, and we're still waiting on that trial, right? It's just crazy. Let me see, Bryan is still not put another update. Let's see. He said the preliminary hearing has been set for June 26th at 9 a.m. Bryan appeared in court today in an orange t-shirt and told the court he waived his right to a speedy preliminary hearing, no bail, and obviously no plea. And he has not posted anything else. Let me go back to the chat and see if anybody else is hearing. It seems long, but not really sure. Yeah. Whatever says, if you think you were going nuts, have patience. The family are going through worse. Right. Whatever. Right. Was part of a cut and dry case, and the assailant never said he wasn't guilty, and it still took 6 months for him to put in his plea. Exactly, whatever. Hi, Angel Eyes, he's enjoying the fame of it. Yeah, well, he did, that one neighbor that came forward and said he was talking about serial killers with him, and then said he was watching that Dahmer thing. So yeah, you need to see again and get justice. I know.
We'll do a documentary on
Be
it.
interesting. Yeah. Let's see. So is anybody else seeing any other stuff? Will they be releasing Discovery? No, Elizabeth. I mean, there are some things that might come out, maybe a 911 call or something, but they're not. I got a letter yesterday from Moscow with a bunch of things that I requested, and they said that they weren't releasing a lot of it because of the investigation, and it was like a 2-page letter about that. So yeah, most of that, like none of that is, you're not going to see any of that right now. That takes a while. And frankly, with the way things are going with people on TikTok, I think that's going to make things even longer in this case, because people take anything that's released out that right now they're like bullying the survivors who are obviously witnesses. It's terrible. Let's see. Okay. Let me just see if he has any other. Oh, the fake audio? Yeah, that was fake, Judy. That wasn't real. And we said it from the beginning, but there's still creators that have that up there. I don't think they've even taken it down, even with the headlines that it was Ethan Screams. It's just horrendous. And that TikToker with the date that we went over that last night, just how ridiculous that is, and how I don't understand, these creators are just putting anything out there. There's no moral compass at all. We won't see anything for a long time, Glenn Drummond says. Yes, they can always extend the June date. It's a shame the criminal justice, yes, takes so long. Yeah, it'll probably be extended. Yeah, it's very, very likely. More than likely, the odds are it will be extended. There's always circumstances that make that happen, and that's why we see these cases. It's normally like, look at Larry Miliete. Maya Miliete went missing January of 2021. It's 2 years now, and he's just having the preliminary hearing now. Letitia Stout, that's 3 years going up on that Gannon was reported missing, and she doesn't seem like we're any closer in that case to getting to trial. And look at Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. This takes a long time. Look how long Jodi Arias took before she went to trial. Unfortunately, a lot of people, like TikTok, is bringing in a lot of people that haven't followed true crime, but the problem is they are living in this society of immediate gratification, like, oh, this is going to happen right now, right now, right now. They can't even wait for episodes to drop in a Netflix series, right? They can't wait a week between an episode. That's like torture for them. It's got to drop all at one time, so they think like the whole world is like that, and they thought that this was going to go to trial like this week, and it was going to culminate next week, and they have no idea. They are freaking out on Twitter, and you can see quickly that they have no idea how long this takes. You have heard that this could take years. Yeah. Jodi Arias, what a case that was. Yeah, I know. Let me just see if he posted anything else new. And I don't know how long they'll take to get the video up. He still has not posted anything else. Let me go if there's any other. Let's see. People out there that are have it.
Sherry in chat says she's watching him in court right now.
Okay, let me see.
I don't know.
All right, let me see where that's coming from. Oh, okay. Sherry, are you watching it on a news feed? Let me see if this has this. Let's see. Okay. Happened Monday. Let's see, go over here. Okay, here we go. Let me see if this has it. Updates. Hmm. 31 minutes ago. 7 minutes ago. His preliminary hearing has been set according to reporters inside the courtroom. He will appear next June 26th at 9 a.m. Kohberger waived his right. No bail was set.
She says she's watching it on Law and Crime.
Oh, okay. Trying to see if there's the did you find? No, I can't stream from Law and Crime, so I need the source, and he hasn't. Ryan Enton hasn't put up anything yet that I see past that.
He's just left the courtroom.
Right. You have to wait through the footage. It was short, yeah. Yeah. It's over, Oliver? Okay. Yeah, Glenn Gemmin, it's, they're still getting clicks and views, but that kind of stuff has a way of biting them. Let me just see if there's any speaking notes. How did he look, Oliver? Was he as smug as last time? Thank you, Gianna Marie, about the clock. Let's see any other things.
Okay. I'll check and make sure. I haven't, I've been doing a couple things around here just now.
Let's see what these people are saying. This is only disappointing for those who need popcorn, for those who want a legal investigative process and prosecution to go smoothly and lead to a conviction. They're fine with this date. Let's see. Chill, people. This also gives the prosecution more time to prepare and shore up their case, plus time for the media, social media fever to quiet down. a good thing based on the crazy speculations lately in the true crime world. Yeah, maybe they'll move on to something else. Oh my gosh, you just, I don't know. They have a photo here. I don't know if this is true. It looks like, they said it looks like fresh cuts on his face. This looks very suspect. See if someone said, if he had any cuts on his face, it would have already healed. Someone said, look at last week's footage. They're not there. Oh my gosh, they're already going to town.
They're thinking he got in a fight already, but I don't believe that.
Yeah, did anybody really see stuff on his face?
I did not.
Oh.
Yeah, they said maybe he got in a fight.
Well, this picture is being posted, but it's, who knows? Is this, Sherry, you just saw this. Is this fake news? Did you see
I
these?
mean, they might not even give him a real shaver. They might give him something with a doll or something. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
You
on
know,
his
so that
face.
could be caused by that.
Yeah, let's see. They're saying that's,
You know, he's got 23 hours to lay down. Maybe
Yeah.
put marks on his face, staring at a wall.
I don't know. Let me see what Sherry and the others are saying. Were there cuts on his? Yes, that was on his face. That is correct. You saw these cuts here? Not from the crime, exactly, Glenn. From something that happened right after. Yeah, because he didn't have them last week. Exactly. He also got a haircut. Yes, yes. He did. It looks like he did. Though it's still coming down pretty long on the back of his neck. Just bad razors, single braids.
Well,
The Spudler
Yeah.
said.
I think they let anybody fight him at this point. You know, if he fought with the guards.
Hi, Annie. Hi, Bridget. Okay. I never know what's
The
fake.
jail doesn't have to tell us when he's behaving or not.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, let's see. People, it's so funny to see these people on Twitter like, just going out of their minds.
Well, they're headed in your speedy trial.
Yeah, they really thought this was going to be like next week. This was going to start. I mean, it's scary.
They have no witnesses in this.
They're like, they're just dragging it out. Somebody said, he's a sick person for dragging this out. Somebody said, it's only 6 months away. I'm sure something else will happen to capture your attention.
Probably.
Oh my gosh.
It doesn't mean we're going to forget about it.
They are freaking out, these people. Crazy. Okay, and...
I mean, in 6 months, they might have found out where the knife was coming from, all kinds of things.
Right?
But it might not be obvious now.
So he cares.
Okay, so let's see. I was trying to see if there was anything here.
Yeah,
Hold on a minute, because my
that's cool. That's really good for him.
oh, look at this.
Yeah, so,
Family is
so that's so.
unconscious.
I said,
Somebody said
I
that
said
there
that
is
about
I found it. Oh, somebody was talking about the 911 call. Okay.
That's good. Yeah.
Let's see. Trying to see if there's anything that's been already been scheduled. So I don't see anything else, and that's gonna be it. I know people are gonna be like freaking out. They're already talking about the 911 call and when something's. But I mean, maybe they'll.
You know, that the families were there, some of them, and, you know, it's an honor. He knows that.
That was the initial one. Or about 2 minutes ago.
Up wild breasts when they get them and hang them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. I still don't see on the.
We ever used it, I know.
So that's about the size of that that's happened. And I don't even see Brian Enton. I'm surprised he just like. The last tweet was 26 minutes ago, then said the preliminary hearing has been set for June 26th at 9 a.m. in court today in an orange t-shirt. There's a picture of him in court today. He waived his right to a speedy trial. Yes, there are some cuts on his face. And that's about the size of it. So
Well, they cut his hair. Who knows? It might have also had a full barber in there.
Yeah. I don't know.
But even if he did that, who knows or what?
Yeah, hi Kevin and everybody. It's just, Glenn says it's just nuts the way people have such a fundamental misunderstanding of how these things work. Many people don't, but to start ranting and raving ignorantly online is a spot on real true crimers. Yeah, exactly, Glenn. And it's just, yeah, it's just ridiculous. They are thinking everything is like a show for them. Nothing, they don't even understand their real life in it for anyone. It's just for them. Like, why can't they get some more information? Someone's like, they've got to give me something until then. It's not a freaking show. It's people's lives.
It's not variation.
Yeah, it's the Idaho TV News have never worked so much on true crime. Yeah, they've had a lot of things going on there, right, Oliver? Oliver, what the heck is going on with that little boy? The one, did that come to a standstill? They never found anything more about little monkey? Michael Vaughn? Yeah, you can't stream. Sherry, WFLA does not allow streaming of their news, and any creator that does it is doing it without their permission, and they in turn can be in trouble for that, and have gotten in trouble for that. So I don't ever stream like that. It's not worth. I would never put the channel at jeopardy. He's probably learning to shave with a cheap razor and lukewarm water. You think so? Oh, they were. What, Oliver? They were what? I looked up old English words, and this better seem right. In a state where you are busy doing a lot of nothing, they have a sleep state. That is me. Nothing on Michael Vaughn? Yeah, that's crazy. Okay. Yeah, that's the truth. A lot of people take advantage of that. But it could come back to bite them. Oh, they were streaming, yeah. Good for them. Hi, Gretchen Blue. But that's it. I mean, you can check it out. You're down with the bad razor theory. It makes a big difference. Yeah, I guess so. Wow. But if it's cutting up his face like that, they look like they could maybe do some other damage with that. I'm surprised. The jailhouse razor. Hi, Shanna. Well, thank you guys for coming in. A lot of new people in here today, so that's nice. I hope that you come back and watch us later when we, cover this, other cases, and get ready for Murdaugh. Looks like I wanted to see that the boathouse they had. I wonder if it's the house that we went by. Because I know that was Maggie's, but let me see. I just want to look at that Murdaugh. Where they had the party. Where's that? Because there was a settlement reached today, or 2 days ago, in the Murdaugh murders. Let's see.
The court needs this time. What if he asked for somebody else? In Pennsylvania or Oregon, there's a case too, they don't know.
Oh, you're talking about Bryan?
Yeah, so they need this time to gather whatever they can.
Mm-hmm.
They always add to
Where did the...
evidence.
Oh, it was a bridge piling off Paris Island. So where... Let me see something. Paris Island. Straight Paris Island. Paris Island, South Carolina. So let's see where that is. In correlation with Edisto.
It could be as simple as a pimple he's gonna pop on his face with grass. You don't know.
No, it looks like wider. It looks. Can you see it?
Oh, you
It's
saw it?
under. Oh, yeah, I have it up there on the screen. It's definitely like the one long kind of gash under his lip on the side, and then another one on the side of his face. But it looks like he is clean shaven, so it probably is from a razor.
Yeah, but up there.
Yeah, it's up there. You can see it on YouTube.
Okay.
It's from the hearing today.
Those kind of look like a road rat, doesn't it?
It looks like it's probably a cut from a razor that he was probably never dealt with something like that. Let me see. Okay. Review for, let's see here. Bridge piling. Okay. Bridge piling off of Paris Island is where it happened.
Thank you, Butler.
Let's see.
Very
Okay.
nice over here.
Thank you for letting me visit. I will be back. A great, honest, rational channel from what I've watched. Thank you, Spudler. Please do come back. We'll be on later. It's razor cut. Sherry said, yeah. Someone else may shave him even. Oh, yeah? Thanks for the chat. I'm a first-time subscriber. Just came across your channel this morning. Found it very enjoyable. We'll be watching more of your videos and tuning in. Thank you, whatever. Appreciate that. Okay. So, all right, we're going to end here, but we'll be back later. And thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in a little bit. All right, everybody have a good day, and see you later. Thank you for tuning in. Bye. God bless.
God bless.
See you later.